Hello, and welcome to Radio Free America. What if it happened to you? What if you were running a student Uyghur Advocacy organization, and you were picked to put on a project by some CIA-backed organizations, and you made a website for that project, and then you forgot to pay the domain bill for that website? Allow me to explain how I hijacked a domain from an organization that works at least indirectly with the CIA to spread propaganda about America's enemy, China.
This is why you should come to the next Uyghur Nights with lots of stickers,
Did you see that? This little QR code here with the website www.whatifithappenedtoyou.com. This video was uploaded by the Uyghur Youth Initiative a few months ago. The project that they made these mirrors from was actually from over a year ago. That's why the domain expired. They're still reusing these mirrors, though. I saw this come across my feed, and I decided to see what that QR code went to, what that website went to. When I tried to go to it, it told me that the domain had expired. So I went and did what any CIA propaganda debunker would do. I went and purchased that domain for myself. Before I show you what it is now, let me show you what it used to be. This is from the Wayback Machine. This is specifically from August of 2022. This is what the website was like when it was under their control. Now I'm showing you the About Us page here for a reason. They specifically say, "We thank Campaign for Uyghurs and victims of communism for making this project possible." Here's a fun little tidbit about the Uyghur Youth Initiative. They vehemently deny any accusations of having any connections to the CIA, as evidenced by this video they uploaded right here.
Hi guys, here's our statement video. Because of all the accusations we received,
People have been calling us out for working for the CIA. They've been saying that the Uyghur genocide is not real at all and that we're getting paid by the US to spread those lies.
You're right, we're obviously doing this just for fun and for the money, of course. We have gained a total of $18 so far through TikTok.
See, they're being sarcastic. They're just pretending that they're working for the CIA. They're trying to mock people like me who have been debunking their propaganda for years now. So is it true? Are they completely disconnected from the CIA? Of course not. Do I think that they are secret agents for the US government? No. I think they've been tricked, like so many Westerners have. Here's an article on Radio Free Asia about them that also has an interview with them. If you know anything about Radio Free Asia, and if you know anything about why my channel name is Radio Free America, then you'll probably know that Radio Free Asia is US state media. It was created by the CIA during the Cold War to propagandize about America's communist enemies. From Wikipedia, Radio Free Asia was a news agency operated from 1951 to 1955 by the CIA through the Committee for Free Asia to broadcast anti-communist propaganda. Radio Free Europe and Radio Free Asia were later preserved by the Clinton administration and repurposed into their modern iterations. Their modern iterations is still anti-communist propaganda straight from the US government, of course. This specific Radio Free Asia article is about a TikTok video that the Uyghur Youth Initiative made that went very, very viral and got millions and millions of views. This one right here.
We are Uyghurs. Of course we're always late.
We are Uyghurs. Of course we don't have basic human rights.
We're Uyghurs. It's like men, not spaghetti. We are Uyghurs. Of course China is selling our organs.
I think you get the point. One of the members of the Uyghur Youth Initiative, who was interviewed by Radio Free Asia, said, "The Uyghur crisis is a very urgent and serious topic. If we add a little humor content, people will watch it. If we always talk about an urgent topic, people will get tired. If we add some jokes, they will pay better attention." Yeah, this video didn't get the views that it did because they added a little bit of humor. It's quite obvious just from reading the rest of the article why it got the views that it did. The women made the video after Zumrate Arkin, director of the Women's Committee at the World Uyghur Congress, suggested they take advantage of the of course trend on social media. The World Uyghur Congress is funded by a CIA cutout. So these girls were told to make this video hopping on a trend, and then suspiciously, this video got millions of views. Yeah, the CIA just turned on their botnet for it. The World Uyghur Congress is funded in part by the National Endowment for Democracy, or NED, of the United States. Wikipedia states, upon its founding, the NED assumed several former activities of the CIA. Political groups, activists, academics, and some governments have accused the NED of being an instrument of U.S. foreign policy helping to foster regime change. It's a regime change organization of the U.S. government. Both founders admitted that it's a CIA cutout. One of them, Carl Gershman, said that the NED was created because it would be terrible for democratic groups around the world to be seen as subsidized by the CIA. The other one, Alan Weinstein, said, a lot of what we do today was done covertly 25 years ago by the CIA. See, the CIA wanted to move from covert actions to overt actions because there's less chance of blowback when they just admit that they're meddling in regime change all around the world. And of course, the US's prime target right now is China. That's why they spend at least $1.6 billion per year to spread anti-China propaganda around the world. The key element to this is the so-called Uyghur genocide, which of course isn't happening. So sure, Uyghur Youth Initiative, they claim that they have no affiliations with the CIA, but it could not be more obvious. But what about the other ones on this website? Campaign for Uyghurs and the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation. Well, the Campaign for Uyghurs is run by this lady, Rushan Abbas. She is the founder and executive director of the nonprofit Campaign for Uyghurs. She was also elected the chairperson of the executive committee of the World Uyghur Congress. As I mentioned, the World Uyghur Congress is funded by the National Endowment for Democracy, a CIA cutout. Campaign for Uyghurs is actually under the umbrella of the World Uyghur Congress, and they themselves are also funded by the National Endowment for Democracy. Here's an article from the National Endowment for Democracy which talks about Uyghur Human Rights Policy Act building on work of NED grantees. And here you can see, of course, the World Uyghur Congress and the Campaign for Uyghurs, both targets of NED funding to spread disinformation against America's enemy, China. They just straight up admit to giving at least $8.7 million to Uyghur groups since 2004. And this article is outdated. It's only grown since then. One thing you notice when you start to really do deep dives into this CIA propaganda about the Uyghurs in Xinjiang is how circular everything is. Of course, Rushan Abbas running the Campaign for Uyghurs, it's directly connected to the World Uyghur Congress, but also she was a reporter for Radio Free Asia. In 1998, Radio Free Asia had launched an Uyghur service. She became the first Uyghur reporter broadcasting on Xinjiang. Again, Radio Free Asia, U.S. state media, started by the CIA, currently operated by U.S. Congress. And here's something that Western media doesn't like to talk about. Rushan Abbas also worked in Guantanamo Bay. She did translation services for the 22 Uyghur terrorists, according to Wikipedia, who were imprisoned in Gitmo. So yeah, the What If It Happened to You website was created in part by the Campaign for Uyghurs, run by a literal Fed, Rushan Abbas. Now what about the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation? Let's talk about them. The Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation is a non-profit anti-communist organization in the United States set up by an act of Congress in 1993 to raise money to create a national memorial to honor the victims of communism. Read, to spread anti-communist propaganda. Yes, this was started by an act of U.S. Congress. It's run by a bunch of feds. It's just another CIA cutout. The Uyghur Youth Initiative works with the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation a lot. Here's another example. This is another video of theirs. You see that? This is another project they did about the Xinjiang police files. This is the website for the Xinjiang police files. Do you notice something interesting about this logo right here? This is a project of the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation. These are some fake leaked documents that Adrian Zenz had his dirty little grubby mitts all over. The Uyghur Youth Initiative seems to work with the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation often because they are always talking about the Xinjiang police files. They show official documents from the Xinjiang police files from the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation in a lot of their videos. If you've been paying attention to the news recently, you may have heard the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation mentioned. Would you like to know why? Because a Communism Teaching Act recently passed the U.S. House, which intends to brainwash American students with anti-communist nonsense. Guess who's behind that? The CCT Act makes educational materials available through the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation to help educate middle and high school students about the dangers of communism and totalitarianism and how they are contrary to the founding principles of freedom and democracy in the United States. Yikes. The Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation also has connections to another organization that you may have heard about in the news recently, the Heritage Foundation, the authors of Project 2025. This guy, Lee Edwards, is a fellow at the Heritage Foundation. He also co-founded the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation with the Heritage Foundation's founder and chairman and was appointed its chairman emeritus. So the founder of the Heritage Foundation also co-founded the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation. They, of course, have the same goal, to spread anti-communist propaganda about America's enemies. The Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation also churned out this funny little chap, Adrian Zenz. He's a German anti-Semite, which is interesting. He's also a far-right Christo-fascist. He believes that God sent him to Earth to westernize China and that Jews will perish in a coming rapture. He wrote a book about that. He is the Senior Fellow and Director in China Studies at the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation, and every bit of propaganda you've probably seen about this so-called genocide in Xinjiang came straight from Mr. Zenz here. He's a U.S. government worker. He's on the CIA payroll. So do I feel bad about hijacking a domain and stealing a website from some innocent German college students? No, of course not. Because they work directly with a bunch of feds in the Campaign for Uyghurs and the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation, despite what they claim, of course. There are other reasons why I don't feel bad, and one of them is because at some point they tried to hide their affiliation with the Campaign for Uyghurs and the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation. Like I said, this website right here is an archive from 2022. Here's a different version of it. This one is a WordPress website. It's whatifithappenedtoyoucom.wordpress.com. See what happens when someone who is running a WordPress website fails to pay the bill for their domain renewal. The website is archived at WordPress. So this is what the website would have looked like just before the domain expired and it was taken offline. Do you notice something here? Do you notice something missing right here? Let's compare. This is the latest version of the website. This is the one from 2022. Yeah, this part is missing. So at some point, they went and removed the message thanking these two CIA-affiliated organizations for making this project possible for them. That shows motive to me. Anyways, here is the website as it is now. This is my little creation. I'm not going to go through it. It's mostly rehashing a lot of what I've talked about in this video, but you can feel free to go to the website yourself and take a look. This is what I'm going to leave you with. One more reason why I do not feel bad at all for hijacking a website from some German college students. Let's watch the video that sparked this entire thing once more.
That's why you should come to the next Uyghur Nights with lots of stickers, lots of books. We have even more books.
The Xinjiang police files, and a lot more.
The people they won't leave. What is threatening about divesting and want a piece. The problem is.
Do you hear that song in the background? Hinds Hall by Macklemore? Yeah, that's a pro-Palestinian song. So these CIA adjacent losers are using pro-Palestinian music in their videos about a fake genocide. They're using a song that was made about a very real genocide, one that we can see with our eyes and hear with our ears. It's disgusting. Fuck these people. If you enjoyed this video, if you want to see more of my content, please subscribe to this channel and click the bell for notifications. I'll see you on the next one.